What is up, everyone? It's Monday again, so you know what that means. Another Monday metagame update. And in case you didn't know, it's the new year, so Happy New Year. And that also means that your ranked ladder resets. So hopefully you guys all made it to the ranks that you wanted to on the Mythic ladder, or wherever you ended up. And today we're going to talk about what's going on in Standard and some new MTG news and some new things that are going on with MTG Arena in case you haven't seen it. Yeah, so let's get into it. All right, so for Standard, things just like last week are pretty settled. So people are still working on and playing with the aggro decks. You'll see a lot of red burn, a lot of Zori soldiers on the ladder. And the other deck I see a lot is, yeah, this mono black aggro or mono black control. I see both of those pretty often. And surprise, surprise, all four of those decks have the highest win rates today. So yeah, it makes sense that they're seeing a lot of play as well. Grixis says it's popular. I tend to find it once in a while, but I find those other four decks much more often. But yeah, just be aware that you can also run into Grixis. So same kind of, I think about 5 decks are what you'll see on the best of one ladder pretty much all the time. And it doesn't mean that you can't play your own pet decks. I think if you have something that you love to play, you can certainly make it work against the meta. I don't think this is like one of those metas where it's like Oko or something where you can't experiment, you can't have fun, you can't try your own things. You can definitely make your own decks, definitely do what you want. You just have to keep these decks in mind. So you need something to stop aggro, and you need something that can counter a big spell, or even if it doesn't counter it, if it's something that kind of mitigates the Invoke Despair a little bit, then you should be pretty good against those black decks. So that's the 2 things to keep in mind if you're building your own decks. All right, and then let's look at overall. It's about the same as before. You know, the soldiers decks doing the best. And we got Esper, we got mono red, we got mono black, and I'm sure we'll see Grixis on here somewhere. But yeah, soldiers, Esper, mono red, mono black are all doing very well, and soldiers is still top spot, 58%. Yeah, definitely the best deck in the format right now. All right, best of 3, we see a different story. It's totally different when you have a sideboard, it seems like. And surprisingly today, mono blue tempo is taking the wins. Man, I don't know if somebody came up with a new list or just suddenly everyone wanted to play it today, but it is kicking some butt. And then the usual suspects after that: Grixis, Zori Soldiers, mono red, etc. And the newer deck, Is It Tempo, is also seeing a lot of play. That's like the Is It Artifacts ramp kind of thing. So that's a pretty cool one. All right, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Best of 3. We also see that just overall, Mardu Angels is still a very solid deck. I think this is going to shake out a little bit more as more people play this season. But Angels, Esper, and Grixis were the top 3 decks in best of 3 last month. So, you know, nothing's really changed. So I assume it's going to be the same thing. All right. So then I looked for tournaments. There's not really any tournaments going on because Christmas and New Year and stuff like that. So I also looked at some spicy new brews on Twitter. Unfortunately, no one's really playing Standard right now, and that's because we got some good news going on there for all of you who are tired of the meta, tired of this playing the same decks over on Standard. We got some good news because the MTGA Arena Decathlon is kicking off today. You know, by the time you see this video, this is a really cool event that they did last year, and they're bringing it back. And it's one of the events that I think has actually pretty good payout. They have 10 events, hence Decathlon, and each event is a different event. So let's take a look at all the events that you can do. So the first 2 are Jump In, which is the jump start, basically. You pick 2 decks, you mash them together, and you have a 40 card deck, and you try to beat your opponents with it. It's pretty fun, in my opinion, and you do get some of the cards if you didn't already own them, and then you play against other people, and I found it to be that the competition's pretty easy. It might just be for now when most of the beginners are playing it, but it's fun. Your decks are all fairly equal. There's a few that are stronger than the others, but a lot of it just comes down to how well you can play them. And yeah, I feel like it's fun, clean Magic, so pretty nice there. And then the other one for this time is Pauper, another one that's kind of a powered down format. So they put two kind of similar things together. I guess Pauper is like the powered down constructed, and Jumped In is kind of like powered down draft, because it's not really draft. But yeah, anyway, so both of them are pretty fun. And if you win 7 games, then you get 4,000 gold and one of the Arena Decathlon tokens. And if you can get a certain number of those tokens, then you get an entry into a big tournament at the end where you get lots of good prizes just for getting some wins in that tournament. So definitely worth trying to get some of those tokens. And then even if you don't get the 7 wins, you paid 2,000 entry for the coins. So if you can get at least 3 wins, you're making a pretty good deal off of it. You get 2 packs. And I think they said that they will give you packs that you don't already have all the cards for. So it's just going to help fill out your collection, which is cool. 5 to 6 wins, you get 3 packs. So you're gaining some value off that. So anything 3 wins and above, you're making good. And if you can get the 7 wins within your second try, then it paid for itself and you got some prizes and you got the token. So overall, pretty good event, pretty fun, pretty fair, I would say. So yeah, so there's those. There's going to be a seal. There's going to be a standard with some special stuff. There's a draft. There's an alchemy event. There's a Neon Dynasty draft and an explorer event. Omniscience Phantom bot draft. That's kind of cool. And then some other on the edge one, which is a special format that they're making. So 10 different events, usually very fun, pretty fair prizes. And then so the tokens you get, if you get 3 tokens, you get 1 entry into the Decathlon final event, and you get a card sleeve for your decks. If you get 7, you get 2 entries into the tournament at the end, and the sleeve. And then if you get 10 tokens, so 1 from each event, then you get the 2 entries, the silver Sundering Titan sleeve, gold Sundering Titan sleeve, and 10 play-in points, which is also a very nice prize. Play-in points, if you don't know, that's how you get into like the big arena opens that happen every so often. You have to have 20 play-in points to get into those for free. So that's kind of a way to earn some nice like monetary prizes from that. If you can get this. So I don't know how feasible it is to try to get the 10 tokens, because you have to get 1 from each different event. You can't get them from the same event, so don't make that mistake. But if you feel you're really good at all these things, go for it. Get through 10 tokens. For myself, I'll probably shoot for either 3 or 7 depending on how I feel. But yeah, I think it's worth at least going for the 3, because that tournament, like I said, the tournament at the end gives you some pretty nice prizes, even for just getting 1 or 2 wins in it typically. So yeah, give it a shot, have some fun, try out some of the events, and it's a good way to have a change of pace from standard grinding if you're already tired of the format. All right, well, yeah, that's the big news for MTGA. And mostly I just wanted to share a few lists I found on Twitter for the Pauper event. There's 2 events each week. So like I mentioned, Jumped In and Pauper are this one. Next week we'll have these other ones. And so I'll talk more about those later. But for the Pauper one, I found some deck lists for that. This first one is a Rakdos list. It's yeah, basically kind of like a sacrifice artifact-y list. And you want creatures in your graveyard because your Withering Necromass will be cheaper. And yeah, so pretty cool Rakdos style list there if you like Rakdos and sacking. And then I've seen a lot of aggro lists doing well. So especially mono white with life gain and drawing, because you have Priest of Ancient Lore, Inspiring Overseer, and Spirited Companion. Kind of OP to be honest, having 3 cards that draw you cards and gain you some life and give you a creature or presence. So that's a pretty strong deck. Also, we have, oop, I have them out of order, but there's another version of it using some of the alchemy cards. So if you have some of the alchemy cards, you can use them. But yeah, kind of same thing, life gain, value draw with those 3 really kind of really strong cards, I would say, in white. And then if that's not your cup of tea, then we also have the mono red burn spells type of deck with the like the Festive Crasher, which whenever you cast a spell, it gets buffed, kind of like a get to Lava Mancer, I think is the one, or something like that. There was a creature before that would do the similar type effect. So anyway, play some creatures, cast some spells, buff them up, swing in for lethal, burn opponent's face. So that's what this one's all about. So yeah, those are 3 decks that people have been doing very well with, getting 7-0s in the Pauper event to get their Decathlon token. So yeah, if you're interested in that, give it a shot. You can try one of these out, or you can make your own. I'll probably try to make my own, like Demir or Grixis or something, and maybe I'll even make a video about it if I have success with it. So yeah, look forward to that. And that's about it for the meta update for today. Hope you guys are having a great holidays, great new year, and until next time, see ya.